and I put that underneath. That way I can put some pressure on the piece that I'm cutting at. Use the full length of your blade. Try not to go at an angle too, because that's just more work. So this is... Hi guys, Woodsman 500 here, back out in my shed here. It's a Sunday afternoon. Still not sure of the time. The time just went back here today, so I'm a little iffy on what time it is. But anyways, I'm out here in the shed. I'm by my wood pile here. Generally, this is where I come out. I split up some kindling. We have a wood stove inside, so this is where I'm going to be splitting out my kindling. And then I'd take it inside to light a fire. This is also where I get my my wood for the fire. Generally, I just bring out a knife. There's an axe behind the camera that you can't see. I don't usually use that a whole lot because this is a wood floor, as you'll see here in a second. So generally, I won't use the axe because I don't have a solid base. So what I usually do is I just bring out a knife. Here's one that I use quite a bit out here. Bear Grylls Ultimate Survival Knife. I reviewed this, kind of gave it an iffy review, but I like it a lot better now that it doesn't have serrations. Anyways, so this is generally where I come out. I really don't come out just for the purpose of testing a knife. I usually come out here to split kindling and get a fire going, but it is a great data point to get, especially when I go and buy a new knife. It is some of what my review is about, and some more of it is just going out and walking around out in the woods with my knife and doing some testing as well that way. Anyways, so you guys know by now that I do a lot of knife testing. I've got a lot of knives. This is just one of them. You can see some of the pictures on my my Facebook page, Woodsman 500 YouTube. But I have a lot of knives that I test. I love doing it. It's fun. It's just a time and a half, and it's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding. I like to hook you guys up with good gear. I think this one it's alright. Go watch the review if you haven't seen it. But it's decent. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So yeah, I just love doing them. So when I go out, there's always, and this is a problem that I've had in the last couple of years, especially when me and Outdoors Guy 500 go out, because he's got a lot of knives and I have a lot of knives, and usually we're batoning. Here's my baton out here. So you can see it's holding up pretty good. I've used this for a while. But generally we're batoning. If you don't know what batoning is, or you're looking for more information on batoning, go watch my ins and outs of batoning video. So that'll tell you everything you need to know about batoning. So that's generally what we're doing. And to do that, we generally saw to batoning lengths. Here's a good hunk. This just came off the wood pile, but that's a good size for batoning. And we take that and we'll baton through it, and we'll start a fire and do our thing. But to get it to that size, from a tree to this size, is a lot of work. We've done it, we've chopped with it before, we've chopped to that length, and that's a lot of work. And we've also taken out a saw. I think we took a saw once. But the trouble is, we never could find a saw that was really good for it. And that's what this video is about. I'm going to talk about a bunch of different saws and show you what I think is the best one. So I'm going to tilt the camera down. I'm going to show you a couple saws and some different tips on when you're outdoors and sawing up your wood. This video is going to run long, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoy it, and keep watching. So here's one of the saws here that I'd like to show you guys. This is one that you've seen in cold weather knife testing, where I tested the Smith & Wesson search and rescue knife. This is a saw that I was using. This is a fairly large blade. I think this is close to 24 inches, but it's very large. I've got another one here. Here's this one's pretty much the same size. Always get an extra blade. I don't recommend that you carry two saws with you. Just buy an extra blade. And really, if you change your blade before you go out, you shouldn't have to carry a spare blade with you. It's got a metal handle here. I'm not really a huge fan of this handle, and the reason is because it transfers heat really easy. Any metal handle that you get, aluminum or anything like that, it's going to transmit heat. So it's a fairly cool day out here today, and just touching it I can feel how cold it is. So that's one thing to look out for. And also the length of your blade, so you know what size to change it. So if you wanted to go buy a spare, you really want to know what size blade you have. It's a great saw. I love using it. It's just a great overall saw. Like I said, that metal handle, it transfers a lot of heat. But the one big problem is it's big and it's bulky. And the only way I can carry it is if I wear my big backpack, or if you've seen in that cold weather knife testing, I was just carrying it. That was a shorter hike. As I've gone through my videos, my hikes keep getting longer, and as my hikes get longer, I realize that, you know, I really need to cut down on the ounces. So to carry a saw like this, it's generally not your best option, just because you can't really collapse it. This is fixed points here. This is all fixed. The only thing you can take out is your blade. Also, if you put this in your backpack, there's nothing that's going to cover this blade. So this blade's going to be open. It's going to do a lot of damage to your backpack if you don't have that covered. One thing that I will do is that I'll put a blanket, or what did I do last time? I think I put a towel over the blade and then duct tape it. Just the only thing is it ruins your towel, but better than ruining your $200 backpack. So that was the only thing that I had against this saw, and it generally I'm going to leave it right here, and I'm not going to carry it with me, just because there's a couple other options that I'm going to show you later on. Great for in the yard if you had some cutting that you had to do in the yard. This is just a great saw for that. To carry out in the woods backpacking, which is mainly what I'm going to do, it's just not working for me. I generally will leave that at home, as I said before. But they're pretty cheap overall. They're not too expensive. These two both, I think they're like 20 bucks. The blades are just going to be like 5 or 6 bucks. So you pretty much find them anywhere, is at your local hardware store, and you can pick them up there. Like I said, they are heavy, and they are going to pack in the ounces, and they're really bulky. So that's really not your best option for out in the woods. And it's not one that I'm going to take with me a whole lot of the time. This might be a better option for you. This is a little bit of a smaller saw. It's got a rubberized handle on here, which is a little bit warmer to the touch. And it's also got a guard here for when you're cutting. You can actually protect your hand from bumping up or whatever. And it's rubberized there. It's not the actual metal, and it's also rubberized here on the grips as well. A little bit shorter, a little bit smaller. But the blade is really dull on this. I had this fail on me. I took this on a trip. This is the one that I duct taped. It failed on me. So generally, once again, it doesn't fold down. The blade is on there unless I take it off. And yeah, it's just too bulky, and still it's really heavy. Not as so much as this heavy, but it's still really heavy. And it puts on the ounces. I mean, I could carry another knife instead of this saw, and really that's what I want to do, because that's what I'm out there to do. I'm out there to test the knives. I'm not really out there to test saws. So that one really is I'm going to leave at home too. I'm going to show you the best option right now. This is a brand new one that I just picked up. This is called the Sawvivor. This is by Trailblazer Company. I really love this saw. I haven't got a chance to use it yet. I've been busy lately with school and whatnot. The blade is actually inside the handle. That's why I like it so much. It's actually inside the handle there. So that's why I like it. So it's not going to cut up your backpack. Just pull it out here. So that's the blade itself. As you can see, it's pretty much like a standard blade. There's the Trailblazer logo on the other side. Go on their website that shows them. They make a couple other different saws too, but this one's my favorite. It's really compact and it's really lightweight, more so than this. So it's really compact, really lightweight. All you got to do is turn these 270 degrees, both handles, just like that, and you have the rubberized grip. And you take your blade, just turn it over your pop that in there just like that, and that red lever, you just screw that down. And generally I want it fairly tight, because if not, your blade's gonna pop off, and that's kind of annoying. I've done a little bit of testing with this, not a lot. As you can see, the blade is fairly new. So crank that down really tight, and also I like to have that kind of like that, because if you have it the other way, where those two little nubs are pointing up, it kind of interferes with your grip a little bit. And I'll just demonstrate it here really fast. Hard way to hold it. There we go. As you can see, it cut through that piece of hardwood pretty good, and this is split, so, and that has a bit of moisture in it, but really it's not that bad, and it will cut just as good, if not better, than this one. So that's really the best option that I've found for outdoor use so far. That's really the best one that I've found. Another one that I've carried before is this one. This is the Power Tooth folding saw. I got a little pink lanyard there so I can find it. But as you can see, that's a good little saw as well. That cuts through the wood very well, and I like this saw. I like this saw a lot too. I like how it's locking. It locks open, and it locks when it's closed as well, so it's not going to come open on you. But the only thing is that blade, I'm taking more material with this blade than I am with this blade. So you can kind of see how thin that is compared to this one. What that means is that I'm going to be taking more material with this one than I am with this one, and this one's going to be more work. So I like this saw. This is a great saw for hunting, building tree stands, and cutting away limbs and stuff like that. This is what this saw is really, really good for. I like how compact it is. It's more compact than this, but it's not quite as light as this either. And also, you don't quite get the reach with this as you do. This is a really big folding saw, but you're not getting the amount of reach as you are with this one. So I like that one too. I carry that one when I'm hunting. Great for building blinds and tree stands and stuff like that. And then there's these ones. These ones are kind of smaller saws, but they are useful. And this is a good question if you're interested in buying Leathermans. So there's 3 Leathermans right there. That's the Leatherman Blast, the Leatherman Sidekick, and the Leatherman Rebar. And all of these have saws. Here's the Leatherman Blast saw. Here's the Leatherman Sidekick saw. And here is the Leatherman Rebar saw, which I'll dig out here. Oh, there it is. So you've seen this one in review. I haven't got to reviewing these two yet, but these saws are very small saws. They're not really that big, but there is so much that you can do with them. And if you're interested in Leatherman and you've been looking at their tools, you've been researching a little bit, you wonder, well, why do I need that saw? Why is it so useful? It's so small. I mean, how can I ever use that? Well, for instance, if you were building a trap, I'll move these aside for now. If I was building like a figure 4 deadfall, let's say, there's a lot of notching that goes on with that. Here's just a piece of wood as an example. But there's a lot of notching when it comes to building those little wilderness traps. So I'm just going to do a notch with my Buck Omni. This is the 12-point folder. This is a great little knife. I love this. Watch it for the review. I like this knife a lot. Great for outdoor use and just an overall good camp knife. So if I wanted to build a trap with this, this is fairly sharp. It's not super sharp. I haven't sharpened it at all since I got it. This is what I'd have to do. It is more dangerous as well because that blade is going to be pointed towards me. Just strip some bark off of here. So it is more dangerous than the saw, because the saw, I have a lot more control than I do with the blade. I'm going to start my notch. Like I said, this isn't super sharp. Get a fairly decent sized notch out of this. This is how I would do it. I don't know if it's the right way or not, but this is the way that I make a wilderness notch, something that I'm going to be using even for tent poles. I've done this quite a bit. As you can see, it's taken me a while. Not only is it more dangerous, as you can see, the sharp portion of that blade can slip out of that and bump me. So it is a little bit more dangerous. If that was to slip out of the notch, I'd probably get cut. So control is very important. That upward finger choil on the blade helps a lot. Like I said, this is a great camp knife, overall wilderness blade. Also a very good skinning knife as well. You'll see it in review. And this is hardwood too, so this is a hard piece of wood. As you can see, I'm getting there, but it's not easy. So there you go. That kind of gives you a good idea. Get a little bit more out of there. This gives you kind of a good idea of what a wilderness trap would look like. Like I said, this is a great knife, but that took me a while to do that. With a saw, especially on your Leathermans, I'm just picking up the blast here as an example. With your saw, you're going to get a heck of a lot more control, and you're going to be able to zip through this a lot better. As you can see, I'm getting through that fairly fast. Pick my notch part. So that saw is actually inside that piece of wood, and there's less chance of that coming out because I can't. The only way that it's coming out is if I go backwards, so there's no danger of me cutting myself with that saw. Or very little, I'll say. So there's a Leatherman blast saw. I'll just show you the rebar saw real fast. Leatherman rebar. Use this one to finish it off. And then just do a little bit farther down. As you can see, That pops right out of there. And I have a almost perfect notch. More so than this one. And it's more smooth. And then I can take my blade and maybe clean it out just a little bit down in there. If I wanted something that was really, really detailed. So there you go. This is going to be a lot slower. This is going to be a lot faster. And this is a little bit more dangerous than this. So that's why the Leathermans on the, or the saws on the Leatherman are there. So that gives you an option as well. I'm just going to come up there. That's really all the demonstrating I'm going to do. So that gives you a good idea. Just some great saws on the Leatherman. They're awesome. A little hard to sharpen, but that's with any saw. Another important part is lubrication. As you can see, that was a lot of work, especially when I cut this big piece with that sawvivor. It was a lot of work, and the reason was because I didn't lube it up. So before you start, always lube it up. I like this dry lube a lot better than I like the WD-40, just because it sticks a lot better, I find. And also, it's a lot lighter, and it's in a more compact can. You can get this in this size, but it's not quite as light as this. And I just like this stuff overall. So that's really it, guys. Just make sure you lube up your saws. This is your best option. It's going to save you a lot of work, more so than chopping with your knife blade. Stay tuned for more videos. Just showed you some different techniques with the saws, with your Leathermans as well. That's why they put the saw on the Leatherman, and that's why I like the sawvivor better than any other saw that I've used so far. And it's just going to save you a ton of work when you're out in the woods. So I think that's it, guys. Woodsman 500 here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys stay tuned for that, because that was kind of a longer video, but we'll be back doing more knife testing before you know it, so stay tuned. We'll be back soon.